Hello everyone and welcome back to Smash Class. My name is Ramses and I'm glad to welcome you back as we end our trilogy on the neutral game. We're ending it on a bang because this week we're looking at the close range, probably the most important range to learn to play properly if you want to be as consistent as possible. Let me take you through the close range in depth in this week's episode of Smash Class. So first we looked at the long range, which would be a range like this. Then we looked at the mid-range, which would be a range like this. Now we're looking at the close range, which is basically when all of your tilt attacks, they would all connect with the opponent. Basically, you have so many options on the table that a specific counterplay to specific moves would be hard to do. This is because, well, I could down tilt you, I could up tilt you, I could grab you, I could shield, I could do a rising aerial. I can do so many things in the close range that rather than the idea of interception, setup, waiting, we kind of look at a different trifecta of options. And the options that we prefer to look at in the close range is shield, grab, and attack. So if you shield, then you mitigate attacks. If you grab, then you beat a shield, and if you attack, then you often beat a grab. Of course, these are not guarantees, but they are a really good starting point. Now, what I mentioned before is that the close range is very hard to play well because for a lot of characters, the close range it's unpredictable, right? Again, there's so many options. How do you beat the exact thing that your opponent's going to do? It's hard to do. What we see is that a lot of accent in the close range is on, for example, your out of shield options or how strong your attacks are at beating other attacks or even shield. So let's look at these three core options: attack, block, and grab. So for grabs, the most important thing to think about is, does my character have grab combos? So Rob, for example, Rob has grab combos. So let me show you one of those. The best combo he has is to do an up throw and then a forward air, right? So these combos make grab more rewarding, which in turn means that if you're in the close range, you're going to get more reward and it's going to be a better situation for you, right? So having a strong grab game can make your close range a lot better. Some other examples of strong grab games include Pikachu. Pikachu has amazing reward off of a grab, or some characters like Charizard who can kill you off of his throws, right? So while he might not have the best combos, he can kill you with the throws. So that's the grab aspect of the close range. Another thing to think about is your shield, right? So out of shield is very important. Ryu, for example, can do a Shoryuken out of shield by pressing up B while standing in shield. Another thing that could be very useful out of shield is, for example, getting a good up smash out of shield, right? So Rob can scoop you with the up smash and kill extremely early when he does connect that move. And then finally, there's rising aerials out of shield. So Ryu, for example, could do like rising Neer, get an extremely fast out of shield option that could even lead into some confirmations if it hits in the right way. So shielding is very much tied into your out of shield options like up B, like rising aerials, like up smash. So that is a very important aspect to figuring out how strong is your shield. So probably the best shield in the game is Game & Watch. He has an up B out of shield, which is frame 3. I think it is the fastest up B out of shield, shared with Mario and one of Mii Brawler's special out of shield moves. Game & Watch has a special property of being able to convert it into combos, right? So Game & Watch is very strong up close due to this. He also has throw combos, so his throw game and his shield game is good, which leads into a very strong close quarters game. Now, I picked these two characters for a reason, and that's going to be the attacks, right? So both these characters have spammable attacks. So if you look at this up tilt, I can throw out so many up tilts in no time at all. The same for down tilt, right? So look at all of these down tilts. So if you're shielding these moves, it doesn't really matter. Like, you're not going to be able to punish the moves because they're so fast. So whereas normally shield beats attacks or mitigates attacks, in the case of Ryu, his attacks are so strong against shields, they're so fast that your shield will not even be able to mitigate these. That means that while Ryu doesn't have the best grab game in the game, right? He doesn't have amazing punishes, amazing combos out of his grabs. It doesn't matter because he doesn't need to grab to beat shields. He can use it to do it with his attacks. So the only way to beat his attacks is by using your own attacks, right? So Ryu has an extremely strong up close game, not because his shield is particularly strong, not because his grab is particularly strong, but because his attacks are just that dominant in that range. Now Rob, you wouldn't imagine it being the case, but Rob actually has the same privilege. He has this down tilt, which, as you can see, not quite as fast as Ryu, but it comes close. this is extremely unpunishable, and it can combo and hit as well, right? So it combos into itself, as you can see right here. So both of these characters, they're extremely strong up close, not because they have amazing grabs, not because they have an amazing shield, even though those qualities are, they're good enough, but because their attacks are so dominant that they beat other options in the trifecta by themselves. Now, strategically, the close range is probably the hardest range to play optimally, right? If you play a character like Rob or Ryu, it's very easy. You just make your way into the close range, you press the button that is, that makes your close range strong, and then you win from there. For a lot of other characters, they don't have a button like this, and they would prefer not to play in the close range, right? They could engage in the close range to get that mix-up grab. Maybe it's something like Joker has really good grab reward, can really get into the close range, and maybe get high reward off of it. Greninja, he doesn't like being in the close range, but if he does hit a down tilt, he gets amazing reward off of it. So oftentimes the close range is more of a mix-up than the go-to, unless your character specifically exceeds in the close range. So you get a very clear dynamic where if you're playing as Ryu wants to be in the close range, but Ryu's mid-range isn't the greatest, right? So it's a very binary type of playstyle. Whereas a character like Shulk, also very binary, but in a different way, right? Because he doesn't have amazing options in the close range. So when he's not in the close range, he's doing very well. And when he is in the close range, he's doing very poorly. So it's kind of the opposite of Ryu. So I would say figure out, what does your character do at a close range? Does your character have good out of shield? Does your character have good grab game? Or perhaps your character has one of these attacks like Ryu up tilt, like Rob down tilt, that really dominates the close range situations, in which case, instead of playing the close range in a tactical way, it's more about how do you strategically get into that close range in the first place so you can use your overwhelming move. So that's the close range. Like I said, probably the simplest range out of all three of them, because it's very binary. If you have a strong close quarters game, then you want to get there, and it's not really about how you play the close quarters, it's about getting into the close quarters, because as soon as you get there, you go for your dominant move, like the Ryu up tilt, just poke them out and go from there. For characters without a strong close quarters, it's all about figuring out, hey, how do I keep my opponent out of this range? And perhaps, maybe you want to mix it up and get into the close range yourself every so often to get a sneaky little grab in. Maybe, run up a shield and use your out of shield up B, something like that to score a KO. It's up to what your character can do. So again, I invite you to sit down with your character and really figure out, okay, how does this character perform in the close range, and adjust your strategy based on what you learned today. For now, guys, that's going to be all. We're going to be continuing with Smash class for a while still, so I hope you've been enjoying the episodes. I hope to see you next week for some more information and some more in-depth analysis of the various aspects of Smash. For now, guys, again, thank you so much for watching, and stay smart.